If there's one skill that can get you ahead in the boutique hotel game or scaling with short-term rentals, it's this. It's the one skill that if you master it, you'll always have an abundance of opportunities. And that one thing is learning how to find and acquire great deals. If you can find a great deal, the other pieces often fall into place, or at least give you a much better odds of that happening. Now, if you're having trouble finding boutique hotel deals, what you really have is a top of the funnel problem. But what the heck is a funnel? If you think about it, a funnel is wide at the top, right? And then it narrows at the bottom, spitting out what you put into the top in a more concentrated way. So your acquisition funnel is what you figuratively pour all your leads into the top of, and you work the funnel, meaning you screen, analyze, and offer on deals, and through that process, get deals under contract that spit out at the bottom of the funnel. When it comes down to it, finding deals is all a numbers game. If you want more output, you need more input. That's because the more deals you find, screen, analyze, and offer on, the more deals you will get. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Blake, it's hard to find deals right now and interest rates make it tough to make anything work. And I agree with you, and I've personally experienced the same thing. But when I focus my attention on the top of the funnel and increase the sources of and the number of deals I've screened, I've gotten deals. And these are the things that work across the real estate industry to fill your inbox with leads. And with the right guidance, you can do it too. So let's dive into it. When we think about the strategies of finding and getting deals, I think it's important to understand how it fits into the grander strategy of the acquisition process. And from a zoomed out perspective, what we're really looking for is value add boutique hotel deals where we can purchase an underperforming property with potential and renovate it and redesign it and turn it into something unique that attracts new, higher paying guests, thereby increasing the net operating income and the value of the property. So you can have the best operations and the best team in the world, which I'll show you how to build in an upcoming video. But if you buy wrong, you'll always be working from behind. So it's imperative in the beginning to find the best deal. So the acquisition process really deserves your focus, especially in the beginning until you get a great deal, because none of the other stuff matters until you do. And honestly, if you get a great deal, you can fumble your way through the rest and still be fine. Ask me how I know. And I run my business on EOS from the book Traction. So I like to systematize my business and measure my actions and my results, especially with the entire aspect of finding deals because it's really important. So for this example, it might be a number of offers I have to put in to get one deal. And you can break that down further into the number of leads to get the deals to analyze, which lead to offers, and then which leads to deals. So I track each one of these things. I want to know how many leads I'm getting each week, how many deals I'm analyzing each week, and the number of offers I'm putting in each week when I'm going through this phase. And all of that action is what leads to you getting deals. And by tracking each metric, you can see if you're falling short in one area and diagnose the problem. Like if it's not enough leads, then increase the top of the funnel inputs. This means call more brokers, send more mailers, and so on. If you're getting leads but can't efficiently underwrite them to get to that point of putting in an offer, then you have a different problem to diagnose and to fix. And maybe it's bringing on a VA to input the numbers from the T12 that you get from the brokers that you're coming in to do the final analysis and not all the tedious data entry. So the acquisition process breaks down into key steps in the process that you can measure and turn the dial in each area if and when needed. And likely, most of the time, it's gonna be a top of the funnel problem because if I sent you 1,000 potential deals right now to your inbox, there's a very good chance that you can make one of those work and turn it into a good deal. Now, if you guys want to jump on all of this and more, I have just the thing for you. So I put together a free mini course to help you find boutique hotel deals. And this is the same process that I use, and I literally created it so that you can go out and find deals on your own for free, because I want my free stuff to be better than stuff you'd have to pay for elsewhere. So go to the link below to get access to that free mini course and get a jump on getting into your first deal. And as always, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll answer all the ones that you guys have. Now let's dive into how you can actually find deals, because this is where the rubber meets the road. And number one, and the most straightforward and the lowest barrier to entry one, is online listing. And two of the main online deal sources you're going to find, and the easiest ones to use to get leads, are sites called Crexi and LoopNet. Now these are like the commercial version of the MLS where commercial brokers list their deals. You may hear that it's where listings only make it when all the other brokers' buyer list has already seen it and they've passed on it. And that's true sometimes, but not all brokers are that good. and you just need to find the one. Plus, Cruxy specifically does get newly listed properties. Pretty frequently, you'll have sellers who shop their deal to the widest audience right from the start, and those will get listed there. That's exactly what I did when I listed my past hotel deals because, like my listings on Airbnb, I want the most possible eyeballs on them, and then other sellers are the same. So you can definitely find deals on these online listing sites. And lucky for you, there are also niche sites where you can find boutique hotel deals and cabin communities, glamping sites, or even B&Bs. And those are places like inshopper.com. There's also bizbuysell.com. Another one is NAI, Outdoor Hospitality Brokers. And these are all tailored sites where you can potentially find some pretty good, pretty cool, pretty unique stuff. If you guys know any more, put them in the comments below. I'm always looking for more lead sources too. All right, now number 2 is brokers. Now for number 2, it's hard to say which deal source is the best because they all work. But if I had to pick one to do only that, I would do this. And that is going through brokers. So most commercial real estate trades with commercial brokers. It's literally their job to find leads and convince owners to sell or make the relationship with them for when they're ready to sell, and then list the properties. And by going to the brokers, you're going straight to the horse's mouth, so to speak. Like you can get leads from brokers before they hit the wider market. If you build a relationship with a broker and, clearly and sometimes repeatedly share your criteria with them, they'll call you first when they get a lead that matches what you're looking for. And I can't emphasize enough to find and call the commercial hospitality brokers in the areas that you're looking for deals. Like you can do that just by Google searching them, or you can go into Cruxy and LoopNet and look for the hospitality properties for sale or that have sold and find the listing brokers on those deals and then reach out to them. Now, a good broker is worth their weight in gold. Now, the third deal source is for those of you that are hungry. And I'd advise that if you truly want to find a boutique hotel deal, then you need to be hungry. Then you can go find off-market leads and essentially be your own broker. This is where you identify the ideal deals in your market, either by driving for dollars or looking online and then reaching out to the owners directly. If you're physically located in the market that you are buying, then you could drive through the areas that have motels and hotels and write down the addresses and then go look up the property on the property appraiser site and get the owner's contact information and reach out. It's really that simple a lot of time. It might take you more time, and you might find the properties listed in an LLC, and then you have to go to the Secretary of State's website to search for the owner's name through the LLC, and then look up their contact information like that. But like I said, if you're hungry, and if you're looking in areas that you're not physically located in, you can pull a list from all the available hotels and motels in your area using a service like PropStream or a ListSource. And I like ListSource because with this strategy, you are pulling a very targeted list and you can filter for exactly what you're looking for and pay per lead as opposed to PropStream's more expensive subscription. Then, once you get the information on the property and the owner, you reach out, either by direct mail or cold call or email, however you can get in touch with them. Then it becomes your ability to sell yourself and negotiate a deal, and that's when it gets fun. And number 4, this deal source might surprise you and be a little underrated, but believe it or not, I've gotten deals from Facebook groups. There's lots of free groups out there filled with real estate investors who get leads and who don't know what to do with them, or maybe they're trying to wholesale the property. And whatever the situation is, I know a bunch of people who have gotten leads and closed deals from Facebook groups. And I actually got the current 130 unit hotel deal that I'm working on now from a Facebook group that I'm in. So this really works. And like the other sources, it requires you to be active and to do the work, and it might not pay off immediately, but like all the methods mentioned here, it adds a tool to your tool belt to help you fill the top of your funnel to get more leads. Now here's number 5, and this one is simple. Like you can simply tell people what you're looking for. It maybe sounds oversimplified, but become known for what you do. Boutique hotels are unique and not a lot of people do it. So if you make it known that's what you do, then people naturally think of you when they get a boutique hotel deal and then send them to you. This literally happened to me this week and happens to me pretty frequently. I get it, you're not in my situation, but honestly, I wasn't either for a time. So if you stay consistent, this is one that will pay off. So all these deal sources work. What one you use or which ones you use, because maybe it takes more of them or all of them, depends on what you need to do in order to fill the top of your funnel with enough leads so that you can consistently put out offers until you get a deal. And if you're not getting deals, remember, there's money in the follow-up. Don't just reach out to an owner one time or put in an offer, get rejected, and move on. Like, do those things, yes, like reach out to owners and get rejected, put out offers and get them rejected. but then come back and follow up. So much of finding deals is in the timing, and you want to be there when the seller is ready to sell or when they're ready to come down to a reasonable price. So put out your offers, execute with volume, and then follow up. And that is how you get deals. But even the best executed acquisition strategy can leave you dry if you're taking a singular approach. Sometimes you have to get a little creative. So let's talk about creative finance. So this video about getting deals wouldn't be worth its salt unless I added some tools to your tool belt to be able to make more deals with creative strategies. And one of the reasons that I really like boutique hotels is because you have some really unique ways to make a deal that aren't common in other real estate strategies because they don't work as well. And the one at the end is going to give you way more opportunities to make deals. Now, the first creative finance strategy I want to equip you guys with is seller financing. And this is a pretty simple strategy where essentially the seller becomes the bank. Instead of getting a bank loan and paying the bank every month, the seller does what is called carry the mortgage, and they become the bank and you pay them every month. And this is probably my favorite strategy of all time, anywhere, ever, because it's so flexible for you as the buyer. You don't have to go and apply for the loan. You don't have to get your credit pulled, and you don't have to qualify your DTI, like none of that. You negotiate the terms with the seller and then document that on the purchase and sale agreement, and that's pretty much it. Now, for the seller to carry the mortgage, they'll need to have enough equity in the deal. They usually can't seller finance if they still owe the bank because the bank has the first position lien on the property. So this strategy works, one, if the seller has no mortgage on the property at all and owns it free and clear. That's an easy one. And two, if the seller owns a small amount, like 30% or less, because under that is like your down payment that you'd make to a bank anyway. And then there's a tricky number three, that if the seller is willing to carry a second mortgage on the property and subordinate their debt to the bank who's in the first position. So that scenario might look like assuming the current mortgage or going out to get a 60% loan of value loan from a bank to pay off the seller's current mortgage, and then the seller carrying, say, 20% in the second mortgage position so that you're leveraged up to 80%. And now you would bring down a 20% down payment. And that's an example. So just so you know your options. But the best scenario for seller financing is when the seller has little to no mortgage on the property. And I've purchased 3 out of my 5 boutique hotel deals so far with seller financing, all with between 10 to 15% down and interest rates anywhere between 4 to 6% with balloons that are 1 to 3 years in the future, meaning they finance for that time period and then the full amount of the loan gets paid off when the balloon comes due, which you can accomplish by refinancing the property because ideally at that point, the property stabilized and you're ready to get some cash out and to do the next deal or return your investor's capital. So this is a great strategy and even one worth pursuing exclusively because of the troubles involved in commercial lending right now, especially with hospitality and a high interest rate. So this one strategy could get you well on your way. And after doing this a bunch of times, how I convince sellers to let me pay them over time with less out of pocket for me is by asking really strategic questions to find out if seller financing is even an option, and if so, how I nudge them that way. So I like to ask how much they owe, what they plan to do after they sell, what they plan to do with the money from the sale, and even if monthly income would be beneficial to them. Like, I want to ask questions with genuine interest and then just listen. Like, you're never going to hard pitch yourself into seller financing because the seller, they need to like and trust you to agree to do that in the first place. So it's very relational. Another creative strategy that should not be slept on is partnerships. I've been able to scale so far and so fast because of partnerships, and for the most part, still being in control of my own destiny. I think the fear is always tying yourself at the hip to someone, and the stories of partnerships gone wrong may flash in your mind, but you can do partnerships without compromising your business and keep them limited to the deal, meaning you aren't getting married into a business relationship or dropping all of your individual pursuits to now only do everything together. You can partner on a specific deal and then limit your exposure and partnership to that deal. And that can be great for you and for them. Like, you can bring something to the table that the other needs. And if the deal goes well, you can always do the next one together and structure it into something more formal, but you don't have to start. And a very underutilized and underappreciated strategy when it comes to picking up commercial deals is a lease option. And this strategy can potentially save you in a scenario when no other acquisition strategy will work for you. So a lease option actually has 2 parts, as a lease and an option. And the lease is just what it sounds like. You lease the property from the owner and you become the tenant and they become the landlord, and you pay them a fixed lease fee each month. similar to your debt services if you own the property. It's consistent monthly income for the owner with no operational responsibilities for them. Then you as the tenant do everything. And the most common way to structure is a triple net lease, where you, the tenant, pay for everything, including the taxes and the insurance. And with this strategy, you get to fully run the property and keep the excess cash flow. It's very similar to seller financing, but the deed doesn't change hands. And then the second part is the option, or the option to purchase. So this gives you the ability to lock in a price today that you'll pay down the road when you buy the property later, when you go to execute the option. So all the while you're leasing the property, you can be building equity in the difference between what the property is worth thanks to your improvements and your operational prowess and the price that was set for the option, right? So what you set the option at and what you executed at. And when you get the NOI up and the property is poised to be able to refinance, you can purchase the property and execute the option. Then you fully own it and the lease is gone. And this can be great for when sellers are stuck on a price and don't want to sell, yet don't want to operate the property, which is pretty common. So you can afford to give them a higher option price than you could pay today because you don't have to purchase at that price until down the road once you've improved the property and increased the value. And that is a tool that can help you get a lot more deals. And when you put all these things together, that's when the magic happens. You focus intently on the top of your funnel to get more quality leads in from all the methods that we talked about. And when it comes into putting your offer to get the deal, you have to create a finance strategy we talked about to convert more leads into deals. And one last tip that I think will be a big help for you guys is to put in multiple offers on your deals. Not every seller has the same needs, wants, and desires. So you can structure an all cash or a financed offer with an additional creative option that is maybe a higher price but better terms for you. And when the seller is stuck on a price, know that you can pretty much pay any price they want if you get your term. You can easily buy a property at 20% over what the numbers pencil at today if you get a low down option with a low interest rate or a low release rate with a long enough term. So their price, your terms, or vice versa. It's all tools in your tool belt to help you get more deals. And next we'll be talking about how you operate and manage your property like a pro. So stay tuned.